What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. So July is officially here, which means swamp ass and ball soup for the next 2 months. And I'm super fucking greasy. So for me, that also means makeup that just will not stay in place, that looks like total crap by the end of the day. And I just don't want to wear a ton of product on my face. So I thought today I would do kind of like a summertime friendly makeup tutorial, something that doesn't look or feel too heavy on the skin. So I washed and exfoliated my face. As far as moisturizer goes, the only thing that I used was this Mario Badescu facial spray with aloe, cucumber, and green tea. So I'm gonna take care of eye cream and concealer all in one step. I'm gonna use this First Aid Beauty Eye Duty Triple Remedy. I have this in the shade Fair to Medium. And this is a really good eye cream that is going to smooth and depuff and do all of those kind of things that you would normally want an eye cream to do. But it's also color correcting. It's got this light peach kind of color. And I just like to take a little bit of that. I actually keep this in the refrigerator. I keep a lot of my skincare in the refrigerator because it just feels really good to put like a cold product on your skin, especially if it's summertime, if it's hot. And this really does have a fair amount of coverage considering it is an eye cream. I'm gonna kind of bring that down next to the sides of the nose and just kind of cover this whole area where you would normally conceal anyway. So on days where I'm not going to be wearing any eye makeup, I don't put this on my eyelids. I actually kind of like to keep a little bit of that like redness or discoloration or what have you on the eyelid, because I feel like if I take something that's like a concealer and go all the way around and cover up all of this area, it kind of like blanks out my eye area and then my eyes look really beady and I lose a lot of like definition and shape to my eyes. So again, on those days, I will completely skip the eyelids. And so right away, that just really brightens up my under eye area. It covered all of the darkness. I really like this eye cream a lot. I'm gonna get that out of the way with some sunglasses today, actually, so I can wear my hair down in a tutorial for once. So again, I didn't use like an actual moisturizer today, and sometimes I will skip this step altogether and I will only go in with the Bye Bye foundation from IT Cosmetics. I love this stuff. I think it's fucking genius. And I actually have this in 2 shades. I have it in light medium and neutral medium. And since I think most of my self tanner is gone at this point, I'm gonna go ahead and use light medium because I think that's a little closer to what my actual skin tone is. Now I do find that a little bit of this goes a very long way. So I actually just take one pump, and then what I do is I actually start on the center of my face, like a little swipe down my nose, one on either side of the nose. I'm gonna bring that up onto the forehead a little bit on the cheeks, down here. And then see, I still have this much on my finger. Go ahead and take that down onto my neck. And then I actually like to let this just kind of sit on my skin for a few minutes. I found that if you go in immediately with the Beauty Blender just absorbs so much of that product so quickly that you're pretty much left with none of it on your skin. But for some reason, if you just kind of let it sit there, just like no longer than like a minute, and then go in with your Beauty Blender, I feel like it really keeps all of the product on your skin. The blender doesn't pick up too much of the product, and then you're not having to go in with like multiple pumps to get any kind of coverage. And then with a damp Beauty Blender, just kind of going in and just kind of pouncing the way you would with any other foundation. And then just to spot conceal this guy and then my little slice here I got from shaving, I'm just gonna use this NC15 NW20 Studio Chromographic pencil from MAC. This one is great for the waterline, and it's also really good for just really quickly spot concealing anywhere where you might have just a tiny little blemish. So there. Then with the Sigma F35, which is actually a tapered highlighter brush that I don't use for highlighting, I'm gonna dip into this translucent powder from Maybelline. This is one of their Fit Me Matte and Poreless pressed powders. and I'm just going to really lightly set that under eye. I'm not gonna do any baking today because again, for me, this is more about keeping my skin under control in the summer months and just not having that much shit on my face. And then for the rest of my face, I'm gonna dip into this MAC Next to Nothing pressed powder in the shade Medium Plus on this large fluffy brush. This is from the BH Cosmetics Marble Luxe brush set, and I love this brush. I actually really like this powder as well. I just wish there was a little bit bigger of a shade range on this powder because I find that if I'm not very careful with it, it does read really cool toned, like really gray on my skin. But if I go in and use this powder with like a powder puff, forget it. I look like the Tin Man all day long. It's fucking crazy. And then with the Wet n Wild Photo Focus pressed powder in the shade Golden Tan, I'm gonna go in with a smaller, fluffier brush and just kind of warm up the perimeter of my face and kind of like where you would contour, almost like a base for the contour. When I'm doing a face contour, I don't like to just go in with one shade. I like to go in and kind of build that up with various tones and various shades, just so it looks a little bit more natural on the skin. And to build up a little bit more warmth and give it a little bit more of that kind of orangey, bronzy look, on that same brush, I'm just going into MAC Give Me Sun and just kind of lightly pressing that over top of the areas where I've already laid down a little bit of that base for some warmth. And just a tiny bit of Booski by Z Palette, just to give myself a tiny bit more structure to the face. Now this is where I would call it a contour step. And I'm not gonna go too crazy with it. Usually I'll go in with even a darker color on top of this just to create some more structure and to really chisel out the cheekbones. But again, I want this to be a little bit more natural looking and a little less like makeup-y, so I'm not going in super heavy. And not to say that you can't do that either. I mean, take from this what you will, make it your own, you know what I mean? But for me personally, today, I'm not trying to completely chisel my face out. And since it is now officially full on summertime, I figured it would be appropriate to go into Sunbask by MAC as my blush. And it definitely has some sheen to it. So just a little bit of that. And then sometimes I'll take whatever is just left on the brush and just kind of sweep it across the top of the forehead where the sun would naturally hit you anyway. And then you can look a little bit more, I don't know, burnt. I'm gonna go ahead and speed this up through my nose contour and eyebrows because you guys already know what I'm doing anyway. I'm gonna use Naked by Urban Decay for my nose contour. I'm gonna use Omega by MAC as the beginning of my eyebrows, and then the Anastasia Dip Brow in Taupe to finish off the brows with a little bit of Stud Pencil by MAC just to kind of darken up the tails. So I want to keep the eyes just as quick and just as easy. So I'm going to go in with just a few quick things. I'm going to start with this Maybelline Color Tattoo Concentrated Crayon in the shade Gold Rush. You can just kind of scribble this directly onto the eye, but I find that if you take your finger and kind of like warm the product up on the tip of your finger a little bit, it just really spreads out and blends out a lot more easily. Where if you take it and you just kind of start scribbling it on your eye, once you go to blend it out, you end up with like harsh edges that are just a little bit harder to blend out. And then going on the lid and just kind of blending that out in either direction. And then using the Morphe 9B, this is the Bronze Babe palette. This is an Ulta exclusive. I'm gonna dip into the shade Sunnies on a Morphe M504. And I mean, normally I'm not like a shimmer on the crease kind of guy. Again, it's summer. Let's go ahead and keep everything a little bit brighter, a little bit more kind of summertime. And that one is good to bring up kind of almost all the way up, really. And then taking the shade Faux Real on a Morphe M433, and then just kind of blending that onto the lid itself, and then kind of smoking that up into that lighter shade. I suppose that the middle of summer is an appropriate time to do an all shimmery eye look. Why not? And then on the lower lash line, I'm actually gonna take Gold Rush and just color it directly onto the skin under the lash line. Just kind of getting this down as a base so that Faux Real will stick to it really nicely. And then on a Morphe M507, just going into Faux Real and just kind of pressing that into that stickier base. And I'm just kind of blending it out from there. I'm gonna dampen this M431 and then hit that inner corner with Sunnies just to kind of brighten that up a little bit. And since we're highlighting, I'm gonna go into that same shade on this BH number 5 brush. This is from that same Marble Luxe brush set. And I'm just going to get that hair out of my face. I'm not gonna get that hair out of my face. Yeah, fuck it, we might as well glow it up. Let's go ahead and hit the tip of the nose here. I think that's a really good highlight color for my skin tone. I need this in a bigger pan. I do. It's so good. I like that a lot. So I'm gonna go back in with that same NC15 NW20 chromographic pencil from MAC and just kind of hit my waterline very lightly. I don't ever like to go in too heavy, and I don't like to add too much product when I'm doing like a lighter or brighter waterline, because I think it can just look really artificial and way too much. I hate white on the waterline. Like, who wants that? Somebody wants that, I'm sure. I don't want it. So, and again, I mean, even though I do want to brighten up and I do want to kind of open my eyes a little bit, I don't want it to look obvious that I've put a lighter pencil on my waterline. I think it just kind of draws the wrong attention to it, you know what I mean? Let's go ahead and get these lashes curled and get some quick mascara on. This individual lash curler from Lash Star Beauty, I fucking love this thing. This is one of my favorite purchases I've ever made in my life. This is just so much more effective than your standard lash curler. I think you're able to curl the lashes better, and I think that you're able to get those inner and outer corners, which for somebody with deep set eyes like myself is a total pain in the ass. Like, regular lash curlers just don't work for me. A quick coating of Voluminous Lash Paradise. I'm not gonna go too thick. I'm not gonna go too crazy. I just wanna get something on the lashes, just something to kind of frame the eyes a little bit. Now, I am kind of looking for a new mascara. I mean, again, I started buying this one because it was so cheap, and I actually do really like it. But I just get so much transfer and I get so much smearing that happens like right underneath the eyebrow every single time that I use this mascara. There's just so much transfer with it, and it smudges so much that I need a new mascara. I do. Barely any on the lower lashes. And then finally for lips, I don't know if this is really gonna go with the rest of this look, but I wanted to keep it pretty light. I wanted to keep it pretty natural. And I do like gloss. I mean, I wear gloss all the time, but I'm just kind of thinking for like the normal person that might be like, you know, wearing this outside, and, you know, doesn't really want to have to worry about a gust of wind coming and then doing this to your hair, and then your hair goes right into your lip gloss, and then it's a total nightmare. So I'm actually gonna go into Back Talk, which is an Urban Decay lipstick that I had been looking at for so long online, and I finally did it. I finally caved and ended up buying it. Melted some down, put it into this Z palette, and then I only wore it the one time. I think I've only worn this lipstick one time, so I don't even really remember how I felt about it. So I'm gonna go in and just kind of like dab it onto my lips with my finger. Yeah, that's like the color of my lips. And then just kind of lightly defining the very edges of it with a little brush. This is actually a lid brush from Sigma, but I've always used it as a lip brush. And basically what I'm doing right now is kind of overlining, but not really adding like a super sharp, precise line. I want them to appear fuller, but I don't want them to read as drawn on, you know what I mean? Fuck it. I'm gonna go in with Soar by MAC just to add a little bit more definition, more on the outside edges. I don't want to completely draw it on all the way around, but enough just to give me a little bit more definition. So that's going to be it for today. Again, this wasn't about artistry. This wasn't about creating a really cool look. This was about kind of creating something that was going to be easily wearable and not too much makeup on your face. Just so you feel like you've got a look put together, but it's not going to be complete meltdown. I think one touch up halfway through the day usually gets me by, and I don't have to worry about it or think about it the rest of the day. But I hope this was helpful. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you guys on the next one.